I am living the life I always wanted. I grew up the oldest of 7 kids, homeschooled, reading Anne of Green Gables and heaps of sappy Christian romance novels. I grew up with my mom in the home always, even though it meant some extremely lean times. I saw and understood that my parents believed raising children was more important than growing bank accounts. My siblings and I were more desirable than money. It was obvious to me as a child that having my mom at home was better than driving a nice car or eating at restaurants. In my simplistic, childish worldview, it seemed like a dichotomy. You choose mom at home or you choose stuff. I was glad my parents chose kids at home, and I preferred to be home with my mom and siblings, even when it meant powdered milk. As a child, it seemed clear to me that home and children was the best way to spend time and resources. When I grew up, I knew I'd make the same choice myself. Who would rather work a job than make and grow people? Who would prefer a paycheck over being in charge of a household? I never planned on doing anything else. I married at 19 and, after finishing college, moving back to our hometown and getting health insurance through my husband's first full-time job, we happily began our family. I knew how to cook. I knew how to load the dishwasher. I could do laundry. Homemaking was going to be a piece of cake, right? There isn't much to it, really, and you get the perks of being in charge. Expecting homemaking to be comprised mostly of menial tasks, I put my energy not into doing those menial tasks with skill, but in figuring out the best way to set up systems that would minimize the amount of time I spent on them instead. Even after a childhood with a stay-at-home mom, many household chores, and practice cooking, I still disdained housework. Even with my conservative family priorities, I thought managing a household required minimum effort. Modern society conditions us to assume that a homemaker's work is mundane, outsourceable, unfulfilling work. Even if we choose it, even if we value it, we still underestimate homemaking. We wake up one day surprised to find that it is a lot of work. Turns out we're wholly unprepared for all that it demands of us. In America, you go to college so you can get a better job. But homemaking is one of those jobs, like barista or retail clerk, not like teacher or engineer. Anyone can learn by doing, no degree required. On the one hand, we believe homemaking is meaningful work. Yet on the other hand, we don't think it takes any real training, education, or skill. Past societies didn't rely on colleges to train for occupations. They used apprenticeships and relational training. Children learned how to work from their parents. Tradesmen learned their craft from an experienced master. Knowledge and skills were passed along via relationships over time. But today's homemaker mom is generally alone with her small children, with no one there helping her see the next thing she ought to do. Who will help her sort out the details and make it all fit into a manageable whole? We can blame our mothers, but our mothers likely didn't have mothers who taught them either. Homemakers might not be professionals, but we still need training, skills, growth, and encouragement in our valuable work. I grew up in a home with a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I am the oldest of 7 children. I did at least know how to change diapers, how to direct toddlers, and how to cook a few meals for a crowd. I helped with chores. I knew what family life was like. I expected to be able to walk into my own role as mom, ready to nail it. Despite my early systems, despite my best laid plans and good intentions, I did not nail it.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.